Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town of McCandless Planning Commission meeting for April 1st, 2025. There's only one item on the agenda, so this should be a relatively quick meeting. And that one item is the Blazier Drive subdivision plan number 5, amendment number 3, mortgage subdivision. This is similar to what we did last meeting. And I think in the past, I can't remember exactly, but I know we've done it before. I do not know whether there's a presentation.
Is there going to be representation?
No.
It wasn't last.
There wasn't
It
last
was
time,
just
no.
RJ just kind of.
Yeah. I mean, basically, this is taking the larger property that is at the site and subdividing it so that these units can be sold, a mortgage subdivision.
This is lot 1, similar to what you reviewed at the last meeting and have reviewed twice before, I think. These are units 17 through 22, so it'll be another 6-unit chop up on this single parcel.
Right.
I remember the presentation.
It's a mortgage subdivision, which is rather straightforward.
And it's along the exact lines of what was in the master plan? Because I don't know.
Not in the master plan, but in their original submission.
I think this was,
Their master
now
plan.
that
Okay.
they're out there physically, this
Mhm.
is what is going to be exactly.
Right, but it's in accordance with what was approved as the overall development plan is my question.
I was part of that planning. I think I'm counsel at the time, and yes, it is.
That was my one question.
And there will be more of
I would
these.
agree. Yeah,
I don't know how many
I just
more,
don't
but
have any,
background.
Yeah.
3 more?
I think so.
Okay, so we'll be seeing this again, and each time they develop a little segment within that bigger plan that they presented at the initial time, they come through and ask for this mortgage subdivision, which I assume Gately's looked at it. Any issues?
We have looked at it. We do not have any issues or concerns with this
Okay.
plan.
Any comments, questions, issues from anyone on the commission? Is there a public comment going to happen? Are you,
It is, but it doesn't refer to this, what's on the docket.
okay, something different?
Correct.
Okay, well, we'll get through this first then. So there appears to be no public comment and nothing online, I'm assuming, Lucas. Okay. Okay, so then what we need then is a motion to recommend the town council approve the Blazier Drive subdivision, plan number 5, amendment number 3, which is a mortgage subdivision application. Can I have such a motion?
So moved.
So moved from Shelley, a second? Second from Al. All in favor?
uh,
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. That's agenda number 1. Item number 2, there are March 4th minutes that have been pushed out, and we should have all seen them by now from our last meeting. Any comments or edits or questions on the minutes that came out? Online, nothing? Okay. Then can we have a motion to approve the meeting minutes of March 4, 2025?
So moved.
So moved from Shelley, second? And you're seconding. I've
I
already.
wasn't here, so I'm
Here,
I'm not-
Al will second. Okay,
I'm going to abstain.
Dynamic duo, Shelley now.
all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No opposed and 1 abstention from Ann. All right. Okay, I said it was going to be a short meeting. So, sir, we are available for any public comment issues that you would like to bring forward. State your name, please.
Timothy Triplett, I live 9009 Knoll Street. And I'm here today to follow up on the commissioner meetings where I have deep concerns with the Rachel Carson Eco Village that is being presently constructed or being put in there. I spoke with the architect of Rachel Carson, and he informed me that the parking lot would be closer to the emergency room near the hospital. And as you can see, they've clear cut completely up to my property line. And ultimately, it would be great if I could sit here before the council and ask if the planning commission can reconsider where the final parking lot is going to be, but I know that's highly unlikely and the damage has been done. However, with that being said, the green space that I've had for the last 23 years and the house that I purchased was my wife's, so she's been, as a toddler, she's been going to this property for 58 years. And the green space is completely gone. So my concern is, being that it's a parking lot, if you can enlighten me to with what type of trees do they plan on putting in? Perhaps when do they plan on replacing the green space? And most importantly, if it's a parking lot, how do they plan on eliminating it? Because quite frankly, it's, to be kind, it's affected my lifestyle drastically. But I came here today because the answers I was receiving from the project manager and the architect were not so truthful. So I
They
was
were certainly
hoping,
confusing.
I'm sorry,
They were certainly confusing.
it's confusing. I'm not opposed to the project, when I said this to the sisters, but the truth of the matter is my quality of my life has been drastically affected, physically, mentally, and financially. And I could give you details, but that's not what I'm here about. I'm concerned, and I know it's far-fetched, but if I ask the commission here today before they permanently put a parking lot behind my house, and the earth movers are still there, but I just was hoping to hear answers of what type of trees they plan on putting in and what, obviously when. And like I said about the parking lights being illuminated, I mean, that's a deep concern for me, because right now I have traffic lights coming into I'm exposed. My backyard is exposed.
So with the details of the plan, I'd be happy to show you. You can come back to anytime town hall's regularly open 8 to 4. I can show you what was presented at the public meeting, so you can see the replanting plan, see the lighting plan, et cetera.
Right.
I don't know those off the top of my head, and
Sure.
probably nobody in this room does.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, unless you
I
have it
know
on
there
your.
is a buffer proposed.
Yeah.
That's sort of what I was getting at, 'cause
Yeah.
I was led to believe that he told me that it's wetland there, and I'm aware of that. I've been living, there's natural springs that come off that hill, and
Mhm.
there is water. He said they wouldn't be able to build there, but he was gonna have it closer to the emergency room. I said, that's fine, as long as you can leave some type of buffer. Well, they clear cut completely up to my property line, and I mean, it's.
In all fairness, the parking lot could only be there because that's their only access to Cumberland Road, as I remember.
What-
Yeah, and the intent there from the access from the emergency scope.
Yeah, there's two accesses, right?
Yeah.
The Cumberland crossings and the emergency room.
Yeah, so where the parking lot crossing is going to be, that road crossing, the way the ordinance is written, you need to be either directly across from the other access, or you have to be a certain distance away. I forget.
Well, I
the
was happy that
amount.
they stuck with the intersection other than having a staggered.
Yeah.
It would have been staggered.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for that reason. So I think that was partially with where the parking lot was
Sure.
set. I do know there is some buffer plantings proposed.
correct.
Typically, I don't know their sequencing off the top of my head on what they plan to complete fully first. And we'll say, if they're gonna kind of do all the plantings, typically on most projects I see that happens towards the end, once the earth, has been disturbed and kind of set to where it needs to be and topsoil can be replaced. Typically, that's when the trees will be kind of brought in and planted. So just keep that in mind, but I don't know if they have a different plan from a sequencing standpoint to maybe like work up there first and then move on. I'm not,
Right.
tied into that part of it. But yeah, there should be a buffer that will be replanted if trees were taken.
Yeah,
down
that,
there.
I mean, that was one of my main concerns because, I mean, you could sit there and say, we're gonna put plants in there, but you put a 2-foot rose bush or, you know, a
Right.
boxwood. Because another thing too, also, the elevation, which was level, they dropped it significantly, maybe 8 to 10 feet. So if you plant a tree on the bank, it's gonna, by the time it's mature, you know, 4-foot pine tree goes 1 foot per year. So you're talking 10, 15 years before that tree is gonna reach the level of the ground. So, you know, I'm just concerned that they're gonna, and I'm sure you reviewed the plans.
Yeah, and
To-
I would highly recommend that you do come back in and talk to John
Okay.
or somebody that can help you take a look at it. Because the buffers, for example, they don't plant 2-foot. I mean, they plant full canopy trees and understory trees, and it's spelled out what has to be planted.
That's what I would think that you would be the ones that
It is spelled out.
enforce
in-
that.
It,
some
we are, and it
Yeah.
is spelled out. And that's what they have to adhere to.
Okay, yeah. Fantastic. I mean,
And
that's-
so as to the sequencing of it,
yeah,
that
That's-
might take a while.
sure.
And then they have to wait for the right season. If they finish up
Right,
in the
yeah,
dead of
I-
winter, they won't plant them, et cetera. You can
I
understand that.
accept that full-heartedly.
Okay.
I just was led to believe it was gonna be a lot farther down because it was odd that they put a parking lot adjacent to on the perimeter of their property. And the residents where they're building their condos are pretty much as far away from where they could possibly be. Like the parking lots here and the residents will be,
Mhm.
it's a
Yeah,
good
That was
over.
their plan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And their answer to me was, well, we like to walk. Well, yeah, but what does that do?
Yeah.
That doesn't answer my questions. Like what do you plan on putting in a buffer? Because I mean, boy, I wish this,
They will.
The whole
clearly.
premise of this group is to be good stewards to the environment.
Ex-
So I'm sure
right.
that, you know, and like I said, I don't know it off the top of my head, but we'll take a look at it with you. We'll make sure that whatever they're approved, and keep in mind, they've been approved. So whatever they have drawn is what they have to build.
sure.
You know, so we'll make sure that they follow that and put in what they said they were going to.
I honestly can't remember if the parking lot was even lighted.
I was thinking, I'm not sure.
I don't
it was
remember
lighted
seeing
at
any
all.
details for lights.
Yeah, I don't, do you know, was that the question that you asked them and they talked about lighting?
They claim they were gonna have low lit lighting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't
That's-
think it's,
there's
it's,
no
not- it's not-
stand
Yeah,
for
not right,
standing.
like it is
Yeah.
a passive and where they're above the walkways and
Yeah.
whatnot. And I, you know, and I was hoping, but honestly, the reason I'm here today is because I wanted to actually hear what the township had to say about it, because they're telling me one thing and it's not necessarily what's taking place.
Come and see the plan, because it'll,
Yeah.
it'll make it pretty clear.
yeah,
We-
I would think so.
That's why I'm here. I mean,
It'll
that
be good
was,
for me
that-
too,
I
because it
mean,
got
you
approved
provide me.
before I was hired, so I can look at it with you and
Yeah,
learn too.
I would love that. I mean, I would love that because like I told you, it was, you know, I'm not opposed to the project. I understand. I met with the sisters. I met with this group of people that are moving in and I've been following this from the rezoning of it from institutional to light residential and the whole way through, but like I said, they did clear cut all the way to my property line and then the parking lot is kind of odd that it's so far away. And like you said, that's what they wanted. They want to walk or whatever their answer is. And
Well, it was also in part to protect some of the major trees that are on the property.
exactly with
further
that, but
down.
with that being said, the trees that protected my
Yeah,
property are
right.
gone, you know, they could have done
Understand.
that closer. That's what I thought was odd. Like, why wouldn't you want to reside here and have your parking lot right there? But it's exactly what you just said, because that would require them to remove the trees.
Yeah.
Because that's what their motto is to save the trees and, but yeah, I would, if you could show me what's in the
Well,
plans. or
call,
what-
set up a time and come on in. And please set up a time because, you know, you've got other appointments and things that but if you do, John or somebody will be glad to,
Happy to look at it with you.
yeah, we
Yeah.
just don't have those plans with
I
us.
understand. that. Oh, yeah. And I mean, I wasn't really even shown these plans actually till I spoke with the superintendent, that's the excavation crew who was on site doing the prep site right now. And he kind of filled me in, but he told me there was budget cuts already, which was concerning to me because I said they're just in the prep site phase. And they're
Well,
already making
If
budget.
there are budget cuts, they cannot take away from the requirements that we impose upon them.
Right,
So
okay,
if they have to cut something, it's not in our requirements.
okay. Yes,
If that gives you any. comfort
well, it does
whatsoever.
give me some, yeah, relief because like I said, you're the ones who actually have to approve of this.
All right.
So I
Well, we
thank,
appreciate your comments.
I thank you and I will be in touch with you. So-
Thank you. What's your first name?
Tim,
Tim, look
Yeah.
forward to meeting with you.
no problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. I've already put the agenda there. All right, we're finished then, and we just need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that one.
Oh, now you're gonna do it, yeah.
Yeah, she jumped. on it.
Sure, take the easy one, oh yeah. Motion from Ann. Second. Oh, Brendan jumping in there. Second from Brendan. All right. All in favor of adjourning? Aye. We are adjourned.
Good night, everybody.
Night.